mynews.studio.
A species once thought lost in Spain, the lynx, has returned. It makes you wonder, can conservation efforts actually change the course of extinction?
Today is July 2nd, 2025. Let's start with just how serious things got before these recoveries. We're talking about species like the Iberian lynx, elephants in Mozambique, and numbats in Australia, all pushed to the edge. For context, the Iberian lynx population fell to fewer than 50 mature individuals in the early 2000s.
Exactly, and the lynx wasn't alone. Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park was nearly devoid of wildlife after the Civil War, and numbats in Australia were barely hanging on. The main threats, habitat loss, poaching, and conflict, were familiar, but the extent, whole ecosystems were coming apart.
What actually shifted? Was it just more funding, or was there a deeper change in the way conservation was done?
It was both. Take the Iberian lynx. Conservationists, government agencies, and local residents all worked together. They didn't focus solely on breeding in captivity. They restored the Mediterranean scrublands, managed rabbit populations, and included landowners in anti-poaching patrols. Why do you think local involvement made such a difference?
When locals are invested, the lynx isn't just protected, it's valued. Ecotourism took off, and EU programs brought crucial funding. That's why the lynx population grew from under 100 in 2002 to over 2,000 today. The IUCN even changed their status from endangered to vulnerable.
Mozambique's Gorongosa Park followed a similar path. After reopening in 1998, the government and global partners invested around $40 million. But it wasn't just about bringing back wildlife. They also focused on reforesting the park and creating jobs through community management. Locals received training, jobs were created, and animal populations recovered. I have to ask, can recovery really work if communities don't benefit directly?
The evidence says no. In Australia, numbat recovery relied on controlling predators and getting locals involved. People worked together to restore habitats and manage threats. As a result, numbat numbers, which is unusual for a marsupial, actually increased.
Let's not overlook the Bangladesh tortoise project. 2 critically endangered species were brought back after a pilot program achieved 0 poaching and a 70% survival rate. The key? Training local people to protect and monitor tortoises. This wasn't a solution imposed from outside. It relied on pride and stewardship within the community.
And these aren't just remote examples. In Massachusetts, piping plover numbers jumped 500% thanks to protected beaches, volunteers, and public outreach. So, is all of this just fortunate timing, or are there patterns emerging?
There are definite patterns, wide partnerships, strategies based on science, and deep community engagement. For the lynx, the EU Life Project, landowners, and hunters all cooperated. In Gorongosa, they established wildlife corridors and empowered locals. It's rarely a single solution, but collaboration is essential.
And let's not forget the scientific side. Captive breeding, restoring habitats, and adaptive monitoring all played crucial roles in these recoveries. Without solid data, you can't manage risks or respond to new threats like climate change.
That's really where the challenge lies now. Issues like habitat fragmentation, climate change, and inconsistent funding haven't gone away. Conservationists are adapting by expanding and linking habitats, managing genetic diversity, and preparing for more extreme events. Are other places starting to use these models?
Yes, they are. Mozambique's approach to moving lions has become a template for other African nations, and the lynx strategy is being considered for more European species. But continued progress relies on steady investment and new ideas.
It's important to remember what's at stake. Losing biodiversity affects food security, climate stability, and even public health. These stories aren't just about animals. They're about entire ecosystems and the natural services they provide.
So, the takeaway: coordinated, science-driven approaches really can reverse steep declines. But it's not automatic, It's a challenge. Who's ready to take the next step?
That feels like a good place to end. From lynxes in Spain to plovers in Massachusetts, recovery is possible, but only if we keep science at the center and communities involved.
Thanks for listening. Today, we've covered how close some species came to extinction, how they bounce back, and what it means for the future. The framework is in place. Now it's about scaling it up and staying alert.
Thank you for tuning in. This episode was made possible by mynews.studio. Try it out for free.